All right, guys. So welcome officially to the Sunday Source trading analysis session. Now, so the goal of this Sunday sessions is to for community trading, live trading, and analysis. Right? It's an avenue for you guys to ask questions and get some understanding about some concepts in the foreign exchange markets. Also, for community purposes, the goal is to highlight zones where ideally we should be trading for that particular week. So we'll be looking at a couple of pairs and highlighting very strong points of interest in terms of supply and demand zones that we can trade off from, right? Because the market is based on supply and demand, right? Buying and selling occurs at the same time. So where should you buy, where should you sell in the market? If you can actually know the zones where you should buy and sell. So the only thing left will just be for you to start taking entries, right? So regardless of your trading strategy, right, if you can take entry at, precise points in the market, right, you see that your strike rates will greatly improve, right? So that's the goal of what we do every Sunday. And if you have been following what we are doing here every Sunday, you will know that what we are doing is actually very valuable, right? There's no week that we analyze something that the following there's no Sunday that we analyze something that during the week, the trades don't go in that direction. For example, last Sunday we analyzed Euro USD, we analyzed GBP USD, and then at that particular zone, we made analysis that price was going to drop, right? Also, last week we checked gold, and then I told you that gold has been bouncing off a weekly demand zone for a while. And then when the last time that gold tried to break the higher high, right, it did not break, all right? So that means that high was protected, and that made the higher low a target. So the projection from last week Sunday was that gold was going to actually sell, go deep down, and then we saw the move on the 4-hour chart, and then a couple of other pairs as well that we looked at together. All right, so ensure that you use these things to your advantage. It's very important, right? And of course, it's just an avenue to ask questions, very important questions. Now, the idea of me coming online every Sunday is not to show that I know how to analyze or know how to trade, right? The main focus is you guys, right? So I'm fine if I don't come on here every Sunday. I'm okay, right? So for you, if you have if you made a mistake, maybe like the last trading week, maybe you made an analysis, you have a question, come on board to this Sunday meetings and then ask your question, and then you get response as much as possible, right? Because I believe that for the free community that we have, I believe that this Sunday session is the time that I can really answer all our questions, especially if you're on the free platform. So because if you're asking me questions on Telegram group, via text, via private chat, I might not be able to give you the kind of answers that you need because it's text, right? But here is live, is video, right? So you get better value like this, all right? So that being said, if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat box, or let me know if I should unmute you, and then you speak, and then you ask your questions, right? So let's post into the chat box pairs that you're looking at for the week, right? So which pairs are on your watch list for this particular week? Which pairs did you look at? Do you want to trade? All right, so let's drop some currency pairs in the chat box, and then we'll look at it together for confirmation and conference. So you'll know if you want to trade off the right zones. All right. So Papilo said gold. So let's check out gold, USD, right? Okay. So let's start with good. Awesome. So I'm on gold already. All right. So let me just do this. So let me go to candlestick. All right. So gold, remember this was our analysis on gold. All right. So what I told you was that gold has been in this weekly low here, this higher low. Right, and gold failed to break the zone. All right, so what we said last week over here was that we see price, right, taking liquidity here. That's what I like. Like I see price took all this liquidity here. All right, so this is what's caused. So this is the candle. All right, you can see this very strong impulsive move here. So that's the analysis for gold. So let's see what we can trade this week on gold. All right, so if we look at gold, price has broken below that low. Give me a second, guys. Okay, let me just bring this up. All right, so price has broken below this low on gold. Let me just zoom that in real quick. So price has broken below the low on gold. So right now, gold on the weekly is a confirmed downtrend as we see it. All right, so the best thing you can look for on gold right now is to look for possible sells on gold until gold changes character to bullish. You can start looking for buys. So you want to trade alongside the strength of the market. So let's go to the daily chart and then find a possible setup of gold. You can see daily chart here. This is market structure, clear downtrend. What do we have here? Second. All right, you can see this move here. Okay, so this is the breakout structure of gold, right? So the next thing you want to wait for, my advice is to wait for price to retrace into this guy. Okay, so either here, which is a buy to sell candle, that's a strong supply. Okay, either you wait for price to do this, all right, or I see price doing a bit of small reaction here as well. Okay, because this is also a supply zone. All right, so you want price to do this. So during the week, so you want price, when price gets into this zone, this is a zone to sell. So either you look for entries here for sell, also you look for entries at this point for a sell. And then you see that both of those zones, I think they should be in the premium zone. Good. So they are both above equilibrium on the supply on the what's it called, on that struggle there. So I wait for price to get here. So possibly if we know that price can get here, possibly if you can look for a buy move to ride the price action into this supply zone. So let's go to lower time frame like 4 hours. Let's see if we see change of counter to the upside. Nothing yet on this guy. Let's go to the 1 hour to see if we can enter a counter trend. All right, so what do we see here on the 1 hour? We see this move here. Okay, this is short of the market. All right, and then what do we have? We have this. All right, so price broke this on this strong impulsive move, as you can see. So I believe that if you want to look for buys, what you can do is to wait for price to retrace into this demand here. Okay, so which can happen during the week. So wait for price to retrace into this zone. When price gets into this zone, right, possibly you might take out this liquidity here, right? But overall, this zone here, all right? So I would recommend you don't take entry until price gets to the equilibrium of this demand here. So the 50%. So over here, that's just my own confirmation that I use, right? So you want price to come here, and then if price comes here, if you see your entry confirmation aligned, okay, you might take entry, and we're gonna take your partials, take entry here, put your stop loss beneath here, okay? Your first partial can be at this zone, okay, which is risk reward of 1 to 5, 5 to 1 risk reward, or 1 to 5 rather, or you just write it out into this supply zone. Okay, so we have a potential of 1 to 5 and a potential of 1 to 10. All right, also, if you can also take some partials there and then leave the rest right. Okay, so a possible 1 to 15 risk reward on gold. All right, but we don't know if that's going to happen yet. So, but it will be a very good thing if you see price aligned. But personally, I don't take entries on the 1 hour point of on 1 hour POI. So if I don't see strong higher time frame POI on 4 hours, I don't look for entries on the lower time frame. All right. So if you are doing this, this is actually very, very valid. Very, very valid. All right. Valid. But you want to wait for price to retrace into this demand zone. And then over here, you can look for buy setups. All right. But ultimately, you want to wait for price to retrace into this zone. Okay. Into this zone. As you can see, let me just show you something. Why I think that price is also going to react in this zone. In this zone. Now, this is the 4-hour chart. You can see this level of demand supply here. You can see this liquidity here. This liquidity here. Okay. Liquidity. If you go on a lower time frame, you see that this is also like a trend line liquidity. So price is going to take the liquidity into the supply zone. So even though we might not see a very strong down move on this zone, so what might happen on this zone is that price will come here, retrace a bit, and then that will also create liquidity for this guy over here. So they will now push price into the swing supply. So when price gets into the swing supply, you want to look for sales to continue the bearish pressure. All right. So that's what I think is going to happen on gold. All right. Papilo, is that clear? So we just wait it out. So if you are taking entry on the 1 hour, of course, you won't just take entry on the 1 hour. You want to go to your lower time frames and then look for your entry concept to align. So you just want to set your alert somewhere here. Okay, come here and set your alert so that when price gets into the zone, you will know that it's time to start looking for trade entries. All right. Likewise, you do the same alert setting for this 4 hours of daily supply POI. All right. Exactly. So next one is USD JPY. So let's check out USD JPY and every other JPY pairs. JPY pair, I think they would have a similar price action. So we won't dwell on JPY pairs. So let me just take one and explain that. All right. So let's go to the weekly chart to get higher time frame perspective. So this guy, this is the USD JPY. As you can see, price is on a strong bullish trend. Right, price on a strong bullish trend. You can see your break of structure here. Right. So now our expectation when price does this kind of thing, and then you see break of structure, price forming higher high, our expectation is that we want to see price at a point in time, price is going to retrace. All right. So that's going to retrace into a demand zone, right? Because price cannot just keep going up for life, you know. So based on weekly now, what we can now start looking for on this guy would be a counter trend setup. And for counter trend is quite risky because you are trading against the trend. So you have to be very, very absolutely certain that what you are doing is correct. All right. And for counter trend setups, you will have a lot of fake outs. Okay, even though you analyze properly, right? But let's see what we can do. Let's align this. Let me go way back. If we can see if price is in a supply zone a long time ago. So to know if price is going to reverse here. Okay, so I don't have any data here. All right, so it's quite risky though. But let's go to daily and see what's going on daily. So we are seeing some price action on daily. Daily, we're also seeing liquidity forming here. Okay, this liquidity here. That means at a point in time, price might actually come here to take out people's stop losses or people's pending orders. But that's just an assumption. So if we are to look for sales on this guy, we want to see some form of switch from bullish to bearish. Now, based on our weekly, we see that price is very, very strong. It's in a strong uptrend, right? So that means we don't have any reason to short this guy yet. So we should be looking for buy setups. If we are going to short USD based on our expectation that price should retrace to form a higher low, that means you want to wait for some form of internal structure to change from bullish to bearish, or like you go to a lower time frame and see a trend change from bullish to bearish. All right, so this is a daily chart. Okay, there's nothing telling me to sell yet. Let me go to the 4-hour chart and see if we have something. All right, so nothing also on 4 hours, because let me just mark it out for you guys to see what I'm saying. All right, so when you come from here, price is doing this impulse correction. Let me use this impulse correction impulse. Now check this out, guys. This high here, make it bigger. Now this high here, this one is lower than this place. Or did it break the high? Let me check. Let's check the price there. The highest point here is 144.992. 114. Good. So this guy here is lower than this guy. All right. So this is the highest point in the trend. So that means for us to now, for this guy to switch from bullish to bearish, we need to see price break this zone for us to start considering sells. So if we see a change of character or like a break of structure, once price comes down and breaks this zone, okay, so that can be a signal that, okay, maybe the bullish move is weak and then price wants to possibly change from bullish to bearish. Then once this happens, you want to wait for price to retrace into a supply level, and at that supply, you want to look for sells. All right. But this can also be a fake out. Why do I say so? Because price might do this, and then because it's a counter trend, price can do this, okay, use this move to take out liquidity and then push price to form a higher high. All right. So we don't know what price wants to do yet. All right. So I wouldn't really mess with USDJPY right now. I'm not even seeing a setup for buys yet, honestly. All right. So my own trading mantra is I only want to be trading very high probability setups. All right. So right now, as you can see, what price is doing is price is in some form of a consolidation, moving from supply to demand to equilibrium. So what they are doing over here is they're creating some form of liquidity. Okay, there's liquidity at the top here, there's liquidity at the bottom here. Okay, there's liquidity everywhere. So this is a choppy market where we don't really know exactly what price wants to do. All right, so I want to wait for price to take out liquidity first. I want price to tell me exactly what it wants to do before I put my money. You get my point, guys? All right, so I don't have any setup, any reason to buy or sell UJ yet, to be very, very honest. I don't know if you see anything, but based on my own higher time frame setups, right, I wouldn't find, I don't see a setup. All right, so I'll just go to the next pair that we're looking at. So whenever I see a setup, we can of course post the setups on the group. All right, so the next pair, let's check out next pair. BTC USD. We have let's BTC USD. Let's do BTC USD. Bitcoin. Okay, let's do Bitcoin real quick. All right. All right. How many of us are prepared for Bitcoin to get to $10,000? Do we think Bitcoin would get to 10K? Anybody? Who shares in my sentiment that Bitcoin will see drop badly? All right. So let me erase all of this. You know, like if we are talking about Bitcoin or any crypto, you know, like it's highly based on supply and demand. Supply and demand is what moves the market. Okay, lucky. So If price will hit all-time high, it's unlucky, I don't know the screen. If price will hit all-time high, it has to come from a demand zone. And that means a lot of people need to start buying Bitcoin. All right. Plain, that is plain and simple. But right now, very few people want to buy Bitcoin, to be very honest. So let me go to the monthly real quick. All right. As you can see, price is in an established downtrend. Okay. Price is in an established downtrend. So the possible movement of Bitcoin, the first movement is that price might retrace into the supply zone. So in the next few weeks, we might see a possible rally of Bitcoin into 38 to 40,000 US dollars. All right. Well, I see this move being short-lived. All right. So this move here, okay, because when people see that price has gotten here, this is a zone market where a lot of people would want to sell. Okay. Most people wouldn't want their money to go down again. So if this ever happens, when price get here, price will be very, very choppy. And then a lot of people will sell off their Bitcoin. And then that sell off is actually going to move price into the initial strong demand level, right? Which is somewhere here. Now, where Bitcoin started gaining grounds was during the pandemic, about September. Yeah, August, September 2020. All right, so this is a very strong demand zone here. If you go on the weekly, it should be strong. Let's go on the weekly. And then you can see price is even approaching that zone already. Okay, price is approaching the zone already. So over here is a strong demand level that I think price is going to get to before we start seeing all-time high. As a matter of fact, there's a higher chance of price coming into the zone first, okay, before going up into the zone. All right, because of course you need demand as well to push price into an area like this. So I see price in the next couple of weeks possibly getting to between 12,000 to 9,000 US dollars. Okay, so when this happens, trust me, a lot of people will start buying Bitcoin. And as well, what happens on Bitcoin will also happen on other crypto pairs as well. So that's the time where you start seeing a lot of DAO communities, a lot of NFT projects launching, because it's a good time to mint those NFTs because price is low. So if price gets here, you start seeing a lot of amazing crypto projects coming up, and then that's what will now push price into the zone here, because there will be a huge demand for Bitcoin and every other crypto pair. All right, so it is fair to look for sells into this guy. All right, so let's go to the 4-hour chart. If you're looking to trade it on the futures market like spot, this is what I'll call it now. So let us look for sells. All right. So this is a 4-hour chart. This structure. Oops, sorry. So let me mark out the market structure. Let me go to daily. Let's see what's going on daily. Okay, yes, it's real T-badge. All right, so on daily, let me just mark this out real quick. We have price, this impulse move here. We can see this internal structure. All right, and then price taking out all of this trend line liquidity. All right, and then what do we see on daily? We see price retracing into a supply. Hold on. So this is a supply zone here. This is pivot supply, or like pivot supply. They all move, all right? So what we can also see is, honestly, I would expect price to maybe get to somewhere in this middle. this middle in the next couple of days or weeks. So price can come here. Okay, these are the equilibrium points in the market. All right. So in the next couple of, so price might come here before actually going all the way down. So price might get like 24K before going all the way down. And then why do I say so? Because if you look at the market structure, if you go to the 4 hours, if you go to the 4 hours, what do you see on the 4 hours? Now we see this trend move. We see a trend, see this impulse correction. Okay, higher low, I would say higher low, lower high. Okay, and this. And then what the price do, you can see as price violated, where is it? Price violated this zone. Okay, this is a break of structure. We also see another violation here. All right. And then what are we seeing? We are seeing price retracing into this. And so possibly what price wants to do based on structure is a retracement into most likely this demand. So it can be this. So this is a swing responsible for the break into this zone or here. So we are definitely going to see a reaction. So already we are seeing a reaction in this zone. All right, but I think price will still come down a bit. So if I should come down a bit, either you see a reaction from here or you see a reaction from here. So if when price comes into the 50% of this zone, it can start looking for opportunity to sell, to buy rather. So if price comes here, okay, you can buy it a bit because there will be a reaction here because this is a flip point in the market. Also, this is an extreme supply here. So we see price retrace a bit, and then we might see price rally into $24,000 in the next couple of days or weeks. But when price gets here, if price ever gets here, it's going to go down. Okay, so that's what I see on Bitcoin. Ultimately, I see it getting to 10K. Honestly. Okay, so let's check out Euro US. So we'll do Euro USD and then we'll do Manchester United stock. Interesting. Okay, so we'll see if we can do that. So Euro USD. So this Euro USD, let's check out what's going on the weekly. As we have experienced in the last couple of weeks, the dollar has been very, very strong. All right, so price has been in a strong downtrend. Lower lows are creating on currency pairs that has the dollar as a quote. Right, so it's best to look for sales. You are on the safer side, you are looking for sales in the market. All right, so let's go to the daily charts and check out what's going on this guy. So on the daily charts, what do we see on daily? Check this out, guys. So as you can see, the market structure, price is trending down. Okay, I've seen this, price is trending down. And then you can see, based on market structure, this is not exactly the lower high, but it's a structural point in the market. Price broke this zone. All right. And then we are seeing a possible, a possible chain of character on this guy. So this is last down move. Okay, price is already reacting at this demand level. Okay, so that's why in the last few days we are seeing price actually not moving very, very well. So what can we wait for on Euro USD? Now, if this zone is going to hold, if this zone will hold, okay, personally, I like to do my thing because looking at the markets, the market on supply and demand zones, a lot of times it usually gets to the equilibrium before it does any major reversal. In layman terms, equilibrium is just the 50% of any supply and demand zone. So I like to take entry from 50%. So that will be somewhere. So let me use my fibs. So that will be somewhere around here. All right. So I see Euro USD possibly still coming down into the zone. All right. So all of this movement now. Give me a second. So all of these movements that happen now, okay, is just going to be liquidity that needs to be taken into the zone. So once price get into the zone, we can look for short, a little bit of retracement, or based on the momentum of the market, we might see a strong impulsive move that will break this guy to form a lower low. And then if that happens, wait for price to be traced into a supply, and then we look for sales to continue lower low. All right. So that being said, let's go to lower time frame and let's be very, very precise. So lower time frame, as you can see, all right, this is liquidity that has been created. Like I told you, and see what price is doing here. This liquidity here, liquidity. So we don't really know what price wants to do here, honestly. So the best thing that you can do is to wait for price to break out from this zone, and then based on market structure, this is a zone that you can wait for action over here, this place, or this place. So either wait for price to come here. Okay, when price comes here, you sell into this point, or if price breaks up into the zone, or if price should break up into the zone, you sell all the way down. Mr. Joseph, we just checked out gold a couple of minutes ago. Okay, so I can't do gold again, Mr. Joseph. All right. Who asked for Euro USD? I hope that is clear. I don't have any set up for gold yet. I wait for price to break out of these zones, and then get to a supply zone or a demand level. All right, because when you also look at what's going on here, there's a trend line liquidity here. There's possible move. You can see this move. This is a trend line liquidity. Okay, people have put their either stop loss here. There's entry here. So price might push up to take out this liquidity up here, and then price take out liquidity into a supply zone that will push price all the way down to form a lower low. All right. So now, why are we also buying is because when you look at this move down, we saw it on the daily chart. Okay, price has broken structure to the upside, and then we're probably going to see price retrace into a demand zone, and then we'll find a small reaction here. The recording will be made available in the Telegram group by tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay. So let's check out. Somebody asked Manchester United stocks. I don't know. I've never seen that before. Manchester United stock. I think that's by Trident Champ. So join my Telegram group. Let me just type it on the, I'll type it in on the chat box now. LWT Telegram. So check it out on the chat box, and then you see the link. So just click through. So I don't know if this is a real Manchester United stock you are trying to analyze, but let's check out what's going on the weekly. Okay, on a higher time frame, let's start from the monthly. Just get a perspective. So we can see clearly here that this stock is on a downtrend, and the price is currently reacting at the supply. Let me go to weekly. It's clearer on the weekly. What are we saying? Let me make it bigger. Okay, this is what price said. I see price coming here, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. And then price is currently retraced into a supply. All right, so over here, we can be looking to short. Just DJ Wise, just copy it out on your browser and then go through it from browser. It might not click from this zone. Okay, so just copy it out on your browser and then you access it. So this is weekly. So price is responding to a supply. You can already see price has already grabbed some form of liquidity here. If you go to the 4 hours, what do we see on the 4 hours? All right, we already see some form of, so let me see if I can actually make it a bit clearer. So now, for me to short this guy, what would I do? I wait for price to break this point. Now, I like using Akinashi for market structure because it just gives me clearer price action. All right. So what I want to do is right now, I wait for price to break this zone. Once price breaks this zone, okay. So that's an intention that price wants to start going bearish. So when that happens, definitely the move that broke this zone is a supply. So I wait for price to retrace into that move, where that move started from, and then price to mitigate it. Once price gets here, on a lower time frame, I look for opportunity to sell the market. All right, so that's what I'll do. So yeah, that's it. Trident chart. I hope that's a bit clear. So I'll wait for price to do this and then retrace here before I start looking for sales. That's what I'll do. So let's check out another pair, Nasdaq crude oil. So let's check out NAS 100, right? NAS 100. Let me just confirm. Yeah, so this is it. So let's check out the weekly chart. So NAS, I think we also analyzed NAS couple of, I think last week or upper week. Let me go, let's start from the monthly. All right, so this is NAS on the monthly. All right, if you see NAS, so price is currently at a monthly demand. All right, so that's why we are seeing a lot of price action at this zone. All right, so this zone will be a good place to actually look for buys in the market based on the monthly chart. But so we have an idea of where price is right now. It's in a monthly demand zone. So let's go to the weekly chart. So let's see what the weekly chart is telling us. So we can see this retracement on the weekly over here. Where is it? So let's start from this guy. So you can see impulse, correction, impulse, correction. So price is doing this. This is the weekly, and then what did we see? The weekly changed structure from bullish to bearish, right? So we saw price break this zone here, price retracing into the supply, and price doing this and doing this. All right. Now you can see this zone over here. This is the weekly structure, and then the structure on weekly also we can see a break of structure on weekly over here. All right, which also confirms to us that price is in a monthly demand. So the high time frame tells us that price is in a demand zone, and then in a demand zone we are looking for buy setups, right? And then that demand zone was confirmed by the weekly. On the weekly chart, we are seeing price break this lower high here, because ideally, if price will continue on this downtrend, this lower high over here should not be broken, ideally, in an ideal situation. All right, so, and then you can see this strong impulse move to the upside, breaking this zone. And then when price should do this, a lot of times you see price retrace into the supply zone that broke the zone. All right, so price is in the supply, is pardon me, the demand zone that broke the zone. So price is in a demand zone. And what do I always tell you about demand zone or supply zone? A lot of times price will take off from the equilibrium. So let's mark out the demand zone, the last down move before, so price is here. All right. So this is a demand zone. Personally, what would I wait for? I'll wait for price to still go down into the zone before I look for buys. So right now, my bias is to buy this guy because price has switched from bearish to bullish. So I'm looking for buys. So I'm waiting for price to come down into the zone. Now let's go to the daily chart. So on daily already, you can see price giving us a clear retracement, like a downtrend. So possibly what can happen is this. You can see this structure, the candle closed beneath this structure. All right, so what can happen as well is for us to see a small retracement into this supply zone here. So this coming week, a possible trade setup can be on NAS once market opens, running for price to come here. So this is a daily chart. So over here, you can see the move that will push price into this demand zone, right? And then when price gets into this demand zone, you want to look for buy setups as well. So the immediate entry point on this guy, if price should come here, we are looking for sales. If price should come here, all right, we are looking to buy. All right, is that clear? Trident charm. So is that clear, guys? So which other pair? GBP USD. GBP USD. So that already be similar to EU. GBP USD. Wonderful. All right. So let's go to let's start from the monthly, just to get perspective. So bearish on monthly. Bearish on monthly. All right. So we're looking for possible sales in the market. And monthly is also giving us an idea. You can see price is at this low. So possibly, right, liquidity has been taken over here. So this liquidity, is price going to keep going down, or that's taking liquidity to retrace into the supply zone? We don't know yet. All right, so let's go to the weekly charts to have a clearer perspective of what price is doing. All right, but of course, price is in a downtrend. On weekly, you can see this, right, clear picture. All right, good. So our expectation, when we see stocks like this, our expectation is what? Is to look for retracement, right? To look for buys. In this case, retracement to form a lower high, right? And then the supply zone that we for price to get to will be this guy here. So possibly on EU, we are waiting for, on GU rather, want to wait for price to actually retrace into the zone. Okay, but that's a long term because this is a weekly chart. It will take, if you're waiting for this to happen, it will take a lot of weeks. So if this is what will happen, is what might happen, we can go on a lower time frame and look for setups to ride price into the zone, right? So if we go to the daily chart, let's see what the chart is giving us. So if we are to buy, so we want price to have changed from bearish to bullish, all right? So this guy daily is still giving us bearish, right? There's no reason to buy yet on daily. Let's go to 4 hours. All right, so 4 hours is very clear. It's given, so you can see price has broken this zone. All right, so right now, what you can wait for is a retracement to look into a supply zone to sell. Excuse me. So this is a supply zone that I'll wait for, even though there are some supply zones here, but it's not very ideal. All right, so because this is a supply zone, okay, drop is drop. It might just serve as liquidity, okay, and also trend line liquidity here. So I'll wait for price to retrace into this zone, all right, and then over here I look for the continuation to form lower low. Of course, if you are looking for sales, you are on the right side of the market already because price is greatly bearish on the weekly time frame, on the monthly time frame is bearish. So I look for price to do this, and then I look for sales. All right. So how many pips for price to get here? Okay. So just about 120 pips. All right. So possibly maybe during the week, because this was last week, price moved over 300 pips last week. So I believe that price can also move within this week, okay, about 120 pips into the zone. So we might see price retrace into the zone this coming week, possibly. All right, so that's what I'll do. So if you know that price will do this, can we look for a buy setup to ride price into the zone? Let's see if we'll see something solid. Let's go to 30 minutes. So on 30 minutes as well, we want to look for price changing from bearish to bullish. All right. So looking at the market structure, let me remove this. From bearish to bullish. All right. So this guy is still greatly bearish. Check it out. Check out the structure of the market. Okay. Market structure is this. So for you to look for buys on this guy, at least you want price to break this lower high first, because that is structure. Or we use this one here. So you want price to do this. If you look for buys, you want price to do this. If I should do this, you wait for price to retrace into the demand zone that caused the break, maybe somewhere here, and come here, and then you go to your lower time frame. In this case, maybe your 1 minute chart, and then you look for opportunities to buy the market into this supply. All right, it's as simple as that. Because on the higher time frame narrative, we are expecting price to retrace into a possible supply zone that will push the market to form a lower low. All right, so that's what I'm seeing in a nutshell. Okay, so that's for JPUS. Let's check out another pair. Maybe the last pair for tonight. I don't know. Okay, so we are seeing AUD I've not checked out AUD in a while, so I'm excited to check it out. AUD Rwanda. So as always, you want to start from the monthly to get the perspective of what price is doing. I don't understand what you guys are doing on monthly, but what I can easily see is liquidity being taken here. All right, so possibly we'll see price sell shortly. That's on monthly anyways. And then price is of course in a down, is price in a downtrend? Yes, price is in a downtrend because looking at monthly perspective, this is the let's say is the lower high that needs to be broken before that price wants to change from bearish to bullish. So price is still greatly bearish on this guy. So this liquidity zone, this is the liquidity that's been taken. So let's go to the weekly chart real quick, and then let's see what's going on weekly. All right. Good. So on weekly, we have this. Let me go back to monthly, and then let me highlight the zone that we are possibly. So over here is the high that we don't want price to break. This zone, somewhere here. So this, all this area is already a supply zone on monthly. So on weekly or another time frame, we might expect price to change direction, right? Price to change direction. So weekly is still very, very strong. It's still bullish. So we don't have a reason to sell this guy yet based on bullish market movement. So let's go to, let's say, the daily time frame. So if you go to daily time frame, what can we see on the daily? So good. So we see market structure here. This is the recent higher low here. So if you sell this guy, you want to wait for price towards break this demand. This demand should fail, right? And then when that happens, you wait for the retracement, right? And then you sell. Another possible scenario would be a continuation of the uptrend on this chart. So this is a demand over here. Now down further. So let's use the reference zone here. Whew. So you're gonna wait for price to come down here. So we can also see a setup here for a buy, okay? Because price is now an uptrend. Price, this is a clear pro trend move, right? Or now, personally, now this is my issues with this kind of setups. Now, when you check out this high here, this one, you can see that this zone, of course, we saw price weak. There was a week, all right? But I didn't see a close. Let me make it bigger. The body of the candle did not close above this high here, all right? So for me, this move up is not a break of structure move, all right? So there is no strong confirmation for bullish intention on this guy. So when that happens, once I see this, and then of course it also aligns with a supply zone, okay, on the monthly here. This is a supply zone, remember. So that means the sellers are actually very, very active here. All right. So when I see this, so this is possibly a reason to start looking for sells. And possibly what can happen is the first idea for price to actually break this demand, and then you want to wait for price to retrace. Once that happens, when price retraces this zone, and then you sell. Okay, so that's what I'm going to wait for, Mr. Fizz. Okay, so this might take a while to actually happen, but this setup, if it aligns, it is a pro-trend setup based on the monthly time frame. If this setup should align, it's going to drop massively. Why will it also drop massively? Because when you check out the monthly charts, you will see that price, this move up that you are seeing, okay? Let me mark it out. This move up, right? It's a move that is currently grabbing liquidity. And then when they grab liquidity like that, you see a huge drop. This liquidity in the market that was grabbed. Okay, all of this is a trend line in the market. So you can see this move, strong impulsive move, okay, taking out all of this liquidity over here. And then when this happens, usually we are going to see a strong move to the downside. So if this setup should align for you, Mr. Fizz, it's really bank you some pips. So is what waiting for this setup. So based on the daily. So when this happens, if I should come back into the zone, you now start going to your 4 hours or 30 minutes or 15 minutes and start looking for trade entries. All right. So it's easy to scalp, to do intraday for this guy, or to do swing trade, because you are taking entry from, like from a monthly point of interest. All right. So you see great and amazing peak movement. All right. Yeah, yes, T-Batch. Okay, so what next? Which other pair? So I think I can see Euro JPY, Euro JPY. So maybe let's do this last. I don't know, possibly. So I'll just take questions next after this analysis. So just ask me questions, and if you don't have any questions, we just wrap up the session and then we'll prepare for the week. So this is this. Let's start from the monthly chart. This is the monthly. So what's going on the monthly on this guy? To be honest, I don't really know what's going on. But let's see. So price is in an uptrend on the monthly chart on Euro JPY. All right. Why is price in an uptrend? You can see this move. Okay. And then price already broke this lower high. We trace into this pivot demand, and then price currently forming higher highs. Okay. So the strength is with the bulls on Euro JPY. So Jerry is asking, can we talk about the news this week? All right, so I'll try. I'm not very big on fundamentals. I would admit that, but we'll see if we can make sense of the news this week. So prices is strong on monthly, bullish. So let's go to the weekly chart. So weekly charts, you can see price action, okay, also quite bullish. And then you see this weakness here, okay. So price got into the zone. The body of the candle did not close above the zone, okay. So possibly this might just be a liquidity grab, okay, to move the market down. And then, so let's see. So this is an intention to possibly drop the market, right? So we can look for a counter trend setup. Excuse me. So let's go to daily chart. So as you can see, so daily chart actually gave us the break of structure. All right. So you can see this green candle here. So what you can now wait for is for price to retrace into a demand zone. Okay, so this is a demand zone here. This is a demand zone here. This is a demand zone here. So we don't know where price is going to react. All right, so based on daily, but usually it's best to wait for price to get to the equilibrium. Yeah, so somewhere from these zones to look for buys. All right, because what did we also see on this guide? This is price taking liquidity. This liquidity has been taken. All right, price to base equal highs here, and then usually we see a strong move to the downside. All right, so we might see price react in this zone, or we just see price go lower and react in these zones. All right, to continue the uptrend. All right, so we just wait for price to do what it wants to do. So as price is printing, we will know exactly what price wants to do. All right, so let us check out the news possibly for the week. Okay, so that is why I always every Monday we have an educator that takes us through fundamentals properly. His name is Kenny Simon. He has his sessions Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Kenny is he's a professional with fundamentals. All right. So I don't look at the news all the time before I take entry. I trade supply and demand. Right. But of course, it's good if you are able to balance your trading using technical and fundamentals to take entries. So let's go to, give me a second. So let me bring up my browser and then we'll go to news. Give me a second. So let's go to Forex Factory. So this was a Forex factory. Forex factory. Economic calendar. Please let me know. Can you see my browser? Let me know, please. Let me know if you see my browser in the chat box. Sorry about that. So I think my internet is going crazy right now. All right. So basically, news is fundamentals, and everything in the market is still based on supply and demand. So a lot of times when news happens, it will not go against supply and demand most of the time. It's just going to align with supply structure or the demand structure most of the time. For example, last week that we had a run on Euro USD and GU, I think it was on Tuesday, right? Everything aligned, it all aligned at the supply. All right, so that's what I've discovered with news. News would only move price most of the time in the direction it is supposed to go originally. So if you are trading in the market direction, you shouldn't be. So let's go. So let me go to this. Okay. Jonathan is saying swing traders don't often rely on the news. Yeah, possibly. So that's if you are on the side of the market. All right. So this is Forex Factory economic calendar. So there are a lot of websites that can actually give you access to the economic calendar. There's Forex Factory, there's Forex Streets, there are plenty. Okay. So basically, what I'll look out for would just be the high impact news, honestly. So there are a lot of news available. You have the CPI news, you have the NFP. I think about 7 to 8 news available that can move the market. It's not only NFP that can move the market, So let's see. So this is, so let's go to Monday, September 19th. So Monday, September 19th, you have, hold on. So let me change my time. My time is wrong. Okay, I should filter it. Hold on. Let me change my time zone. I mean, give me a second, guys. Stop. Sorry about this speed, guys. You know what's going on. So let's wait for you to come up, and then once it comes up, what we'll do, like Champ said, is we're going to filter out the low impact and high impact news. We only want to see the high impact news. So the high impact news time would also let you know exactly how you need to trade, and then what time you should be looking for aggressive setups. Now, what I've also found out is that a lot of times when we see price moves in alignment with news, even when you use stop loss, your stop loss will not be valid at that point in time. All right. So it's good that if you are going to trade news, you want to be online, okay, to manually close your trade. So how do we filter out news? So let's go to filter here. Okay, so good. So I'm only saying the high impact news right now. So let's start from Monday. So Monday, you have high impact news, New Zealand dollar. So if you are trading NZD, anytime from 6, this is 6 a.m. Cyprus time, this is 4 a.m. Nigerian time. So if you are awake in Nigeria by 4 a.m., okay, you can look for setups on this guy. And then, like I said, a lot of times, if this moves, so let's see what this news is all about. Okay. Reserve Bank of England. All right, so this news should also affect AUD as well, because they are very correlated. All right, so we have the monetary policy news as well. This on Tuesday, you have AUD, okay, also as a result of the NZD the previous day. But ultimately, the major market news, market movement happens from Wednesday, from midweek. All right, so you have the FOMC on the US dollar. All right, so this will be anytime from 7 p.m. Nigerian time. All right, so like I always say, news a lot of times aligns with market structure. At a supply zone, all right, at a supply zone, if price is approaching, if news is, if the time of when that news is coming out is at a supply zone, okay, so we should expect price to drop a lot of time, a lot of time. And then before the time of the news, what I've actually also observed is that before, let's say like 2 or 3 hours before news occur, you see that the market will be a bit choppy. And then that choppiness is to create liquidity to actually drop the market. So there'll be a lot of fake outs before news releases. All right, so you can do your your back testing and know what I'm talking about. But my observation in trading news is that a lot of times price moves in tandem with supply and demand. All right, so come here and then take your time out and go through all the news. When you click on this box, you can read more about each of those news and get a solid understanding of why price is moving, why that currency pair is moving at that particular time. Let's see if there's CPI news this week. There's no CPI. So just FOMC. Let me see between what. So on Friday as well. On Friday, we might see a lot of crazy market movement because we have news on major pairs on Friday. You have news on Euro, the GBP, and then USD. All right, so we might see some crazy moves on Friday. So Friday can also be a good time to actually look for great setups. So the way I'm seeing it, there'll be a lot of setups that will align for us on Friday on each of these pairs. So any pair that has a Euro, the GBP, or the USD. Okay, you see a lot of pairs align, a lot of setups align rather. All right, good. So that's that for me on fundamentals. Like I said, I'm not really strong on fundamentals. I wish I can tell you a lot more things, right, about fundamentals. But guys, trust me, supply and demand is fundamental. All right, so everything will align with supply and demand at the end of the day. All right. So guys, any more questions before we wrap it up, guys? Any more questions? Do you want me to unmute you and then you ask your questions, maybe about what you've learned today so far? So we are running up now in the next 5-10 minutes. If you have any questions, if you want me to unmute you to speak, just signify in the chat box and then I'll mute you, or you can just ask your question on the chat box. So I'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then wait for you guys. So Famous is raising up his hand. Famous, do you want me to unmute you? I can see you raise up your hand. Let me know. Confirm in the chat box if you want me to unmute you. So let me see people that are on this call. All right, so we don't have any questions, right? Good. So let us wrap up then. Now, very importantly, we have a free trading community on Telegram. Feel free to use the community for Confluence, for verification. right? So feel free to post your setups and post. It's not every time that you'll be posting wins, because the reality is that it's not every time that you win trades, all right? So, and then don't be discouraged, because there are people on the platform that are actually very, very good traders that are posting their setups and then they're posting their wins. Okay, it's just to encourage you that you too can also win. So when you see people posting their results, okay, let it inspire you that you can also make money uh, in the market, right? So if you're looking at any pair, you can do your markup on your chart, do the screenshots, post it on the community, ask for people's views or reviews, okay? So that you know if that's a good zone to start trading in, so that you don't waste your time and then waste money. I hope that makes sense, guys. All right. Let me know if you got value in tonight's session. If this makes sense to you, just type in value in the chat box. We're ending right about now. Just type in value in the chat box. Let me know if you learned something today. And the recording will be out tonight or tomorrow morning latest. Okay. Do well to go through the recording so that you know where you should look for entry. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming on board on these sessions. Awesome. Jonathan is saying, someone is asking, what is my view on the currency heatwave app? Well, it works, but I don't use it because I don't really understand it. Okay, maybe when I understand it properly, I'll use it. Because I also have to be able to apply it into my trading system. But heatwave just, I think the data for heatwave has to be data from people buying and shorting a particular pair. So that's where they get their data from. And then my issue with heatwave is that you can actually filter heatwave based on time frame, either 5 minutes or 1 hour or 4 hours. And then each of those time frames can have totally different information on that particular pair. All right, so that's why I don't really use it. Okay, but if you find a way that you can infuse it into your trading system, it's fine. Okay, so each wave would only be an additional confluence. It's not a reason to buy or sell any pair. It's for confluence purposes, just the way you have indicators, just for confluence. All right, so you can choose to add it to your system or not use it. All right, good. So guys, thank you so much. So let's have a remarkable night. I wish us all the very, very best this new trading week. May the markets be on your side. More pips, more money. And then as we are striving to learn these particular skill sets, I pray that we will get to a point that we really understand it. And then it just clicks. It clicks for you, and then you'll be able to make consistent income on a weekly basis or monthly basis. All right, guys. Good night, everybody. Signing out. God bless you guys. Cheers.